Hey there, Crash Course Academy explorers. Today, we are diving deep, literally, into one of the most fascinating and mysterious tales from history. Jonah inside the belly of a whale. Have you ever imagined what it would be like to sit or even sleep in a whale's stomach? It's wild, it's weird, and it's totally worth exploring. Let's get started. Our story begins with Jonah. He's on the run from God's command to deliver a message to Nineveh. Instead, Jonah jumps on a ship heading in the opposite direction. But you know what they say, you can't outrun your purpose. The ship gets caught in a massive storm and everyone's panicking. Jonah admits he's the reason for the chaos and tells the sailors to throw him overboard. Dramatic? Absolutely. But then, a massive whale appears and swallows Jonah whole. And this is where things get fascinating. The Bible doesn't give us the gritty details, so we're going to use a mix of imagination and logic to figure out how Jonah might have survived and passed the time in a whale's stomach. Imagine this. You're Jonah. One moment you're treading water in a stormy sea, and the next you're, well, swallowed. It's pitch dark. The air is damp, salty, and smells like, let's call it ocean funk. The first thing Jonah probably feels is shock. He's alive, somehow. He might have slipped and slid around the slimy stomach walls, dodging bits of seaweed and fish bones. Not exactly five-star accommodations. But Jonah's survival instincts kick in. He finds a relatively stable spot to sit, maybe propping himself up against a stomach fold to avoid the digestive fluids pooling at the bottom. Gross, right? And then, Jonah does what anyone would do in such a situation. He prays, desperate, heartfelt, and raw prayers. He's scared, he's sorry, and he's probably thinking, okay, God, I'm listening now. By the second day, Jonah's initial shock has worn off. Now it's time for some deep thinking. Have you ever been stuck in one place with nothing to do but reflect? That's where Jonah is. He's probably replaying his decisions. Why did he run from his mission? Was Nineveh really that scary? And how did he end up as a whale's snack? Talk about life's big questions. Jonah might have even gotten a little creative to keep himself sane. Maybe he sang songs, told himself stories, or even dared to laugh at the absurdity of it all. Through all this, Jonah's perspective starts to shift. He realizes this isn't just punishment. It's a time out, a divine pause button to rethink his priorities. By the third day, Jonah's fear and panic have turned into acceptance. He knows he can't control his situation, but he can control his mindset. He starts to trust that God has a plan. It's like when you've been through a tough time and finally realize that sometimes you just have to let go and trust the process. And then, the moment of truth. The whale makes its way to the surface and let's just say Jonah's exit isn't exactly graceful. Finally, Jonah's back on dry land. He's a changed man, ready to fulfill his mission. Those 3 days weren't just about survival, they were about transformation. So what do you think? Could you handle 3 days in a whale's stomach? Or would you be begging to get out by day 1? Let us know in the comments. And hey, if you enjoyed this wild ride, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell for more fascinating stories from history and beyond. This is Crash Course Academy signing off.